I confronted my parents for the truth, and my dad confronted me with a knife. It feels gaudy to post again so soon. In my last post I mentioned my mom miscarried in her recent pregnancy after a bad fall. Something didn't smell right about the information I got after all the comments I received about it. So I decided the only way I was going to get the truth was to go straight to the horse's mouth. So I went to see my parents on Sunday. They were both home and resting. They both look like hell too. My mom, aside from needing crutches to walk more than a few feet, has a lot of marks and bandages all over her face from that fall she took. And my dad, well, just see his description after the beating I gave him in my last post to see how he looked. My parents were beyond shocked I showed up, and I demanded to know if there ever really was a baby or if it was all just some half-assed plan to guilt me for not coming home. My dad said I had a lot of nerve showing up and just letting myself in after what happened. But my mom broke down in sobs and said she really had been pregnant. She lurched into the bedroom and retrieved a small but kinda ornate looking urn, and it had ashes inside it. I even checked to see if they looked or smelled like ashes from cigarettes or a barbecue or something, but they didn't smell anything like that. In fact, I barely smelled anything at all. I asked why they brought home the urn claiming the ashes were in it before. I checked online and it said 7 to 10 days at least to get ashes back. And mom was in the hospital no more than 5 days. My mom said they bought the urn online and expected to get the baby's ashes back when they went to the crematorium, and were really upset they couldn't bring the baby home yet. So they just waited until they could get the ashes a few days later and then went out to get drunk. Mom claimed the crematorium did things a little quicker because she begged them. There was genuine tears in her eyes. I've seen her crocodile tears many times, but this didn't look like that. I got more information as to what happened about how my mom fell. She was running late to see her doctor, an OBGYN, or whatever they call them. Mom explained that she overslept while taking a nap, and was trying to hurry out to make her appointment. Then slipped on a toy while trying to get down the steps. The guardrails for the porch had rotted and broken off like 2 years ago, and Dad never fixed or replaced them. So my mom had nothing to grab onto in order to stop her fall. And down she went right off the porch and landed face and then belly into the ground. She even showed me marks all over her stomach from where she landed. She told me the baby would have been another boy. I've got 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and there would have been one more brother. Then mom told me that a doctor warned her against ever trying to have another baby because her body might not be able to handle it again due to her age and prior injuries. I kind of figured that was the case after something's people messaged me about it, but it didn't make it any easier to hear in person. Finally, I asked the big question: why did she blame me? Mom started to say that day they showed up at my apartment was just really bad, or something like that. But Dad finally spoke up and interrupted her. He yelled that it's because it was all my fault. If I'd done like he said and moved back home at Thanksgiving, then I would have been there to help. And now a baby is dead because of me. I yelled at him that if he'd actually bothered to fix the damn porch, then Mom might not have ever fell. And that's on him. Plus, he didn't even bother to tell me Mom was pregnant back at Thanksgiving. Not that it would have changed anything. We continued yelling at each other, and rather than side with anyone, my mom just left the room crying. My dad looked like a liter match from how red he was, and he brandished his old hunting knife at me while yelling to get out of his house. As I was leaving, he said I was no longer his son. I told him that I'd not seen him as a father in years, because he was always a terrible dad. But before I went out the door, I said to him that I'd be filing for a restraining order, and if he ever lays a hand on my siblings like he tried to do with me, then next time he'll lose more than a couple of teeth. And I won't hesitate to call police or CPS if he tries the same crap with my siblings as he did me. He yelled plenty of insults at me from the front door, like "you son of a bitch." I said back that was an insult on Mom, and he got red in the face again. Then I gave him a one-finger salute before riding away on my mountain bike. So yeah, I guess that's as good of an answer as I have for anyone. If this isn't the truth, then I don't know what is. But does it matter anymore? I'm filing for a restraining order as soon as I can, and I'll be looking to move apartments after I start bringing in money from my new job. I don't know if I'll feel like updating again after this. I'm just gonna be depressed remembering all this. So I think I may be done here, unless my parents decide to do something bad to my siblings. But hopefully I've gotten my point across to them. I've already beaten Dad up twice, and he still looked somewhat afraid of me while clutching the knife. It felt like he was looking at a monster. Maybe I am in his eyes. But if my being a monster to him means he never hurts my siblings, then that's fine. I'll be the monster. Sayonara everybody. Edit. Fixed a typo. Comments. I sorry your family life is so messed up. It sounds like your father the worst of them, though your mother was at least willing to start to admit she was having a bad day when she blamed you, but your father threatening you with a knife, and having the gall to say you no longer his son, after everything he put you through? Anyone who threatens their child that way has no right to call themselves a parent. I have doubts that he ever going to admit to his own wrongdoings, because a textbook narcissist like he sounds like is incapable of admitting that he done anything wrong, and can only shift the blame on others. It seems like he desperately wants to control everything in his life, and you being outside of it is driving him insane. My sympathies to you and your siblings for having to grow up in such a loveless household. Hey man, for your own good, you really need to go no contact with them and not go over there again. If a restraining order is what it takes to keep them away from your place, do that, but don't go over there again. Speaking from experience, it isn't as dramatic or satisfying, but it's the only way you'll start to heal and move on with your life. Please get some space and live your best life away from these two. Holy shit. Logic seems to seriously be lacking with those two. My condolences on your dipshit parents. As much as we enjoy reading these snippets of craziness, it's hard to remember that it takes a toll on the person who's posting. Hugs. I hope you have good news after this. I really do. It sucks to have to be the bad person in a toxic environment, but at least he's gotten a healthy dose of karma to put him in check. Take care. OP. To OP. Your dad is just trying to control the situation, but then you manage to kick his ass twice, starting to show your siblings he's not that strong at all and that they can become stronger. He does not want them to realize that, but it's too late. He's losing his power and control, and that scares him, so he lashes out. It hurts his ego, and that is why he hates you and wants to control you. Going over and confronting your parents may not have been the best idea, but it may have gotten the message across. Your dad is a narcissist and a bully. He no longer has power over you thanks to you kicking his ass twice. He is lashing out because he sees, probably, a man is only a man if he has total domination over his family. That is not the case with you. The worry is that he may go after your younger siblings to make himself feel like a man again. Tell your siblings if they have phones, start recording everything and upload all of that to the cloud just in case your parents try to break the phones. If it comes to it that you have to intervene, it will go a lot easier for you if there is documented history of abuse. This will probably not be over until all of your siblings are out of there or your parents finally realize that they need to stop being assholes.
Subscribe our YouTube channel for more Reddit story.